a little Seattle Deuce Close scheme for Juventino, and we'll have to swap sides of the ball here, and we'll take a look at this Seattle Deuce Close scheme. Gibbs, a lot of people don't know that about practice mode, that you can actually flip the old offensive and defensive playbooks when you're labbing. You bring two playbooks to the party, and then when you want to access the other one,
that's a oldie but a goodie.
Swap sides.
Been doing it for years and years.
Deuce Close.
Yeah.
Do you come out and stretch? Do you come back out and wham?
Wham.
Wham every time?
Not every time, but as a base, it's wham.
So the wham. So that's the main run that you're going to build your offense around. You can come out and stretch, and then you can do the same XR trigger flip thing, three-headed rushing attack that we talked about earlier in the show, and you want to review on YouTube, so you can learn how to run. But then the wham is just a really tough run.
Can I start a wham movement? Everyone and their mother runs the wham to the right, and it's always to the right. Let's just, if you want a little bit more success with it, I would say just change it up a little bit and run to the left. And I say that because people have setups that they work and lab on, and it's always to try and stop it with that default setup. So if you want a little wrinkle, just start calling it flipped, please, and just see if it starts working. Because I think you're going to see that it's going to change up just a little bit, that you might throw them off. But this whole formation this year, Madden 19 lives and dies with and starts with the wham.
So if you were in the Deuce Close, you'd come out in the wham, what, 60% of the time?
Come out in it, yeah.
Come out in it 60% of the time.
Yeah.
How often would you come out in the stretch? 20% of the time?
10%. It's situational.
10%. And then how much would you come out in another play? You got 30% left.
30% left, I would come out in PAX post cross.
Okay.
Or I'd come out in PA misdirection.
Okay.
A lot of times I'd come out in the PA misdirection.
All right, so PA misdirections, the running is the passing play you come out in. So
or PA post.
Or PAX post cross.
So I'll come out that first.
Okay. Show us that.
So when I come out in this, what I like about it is the table pattern, but it's also a table pattern that's on a flat route, right? So what I'll do here is I'll put Wilson on the in, and I create a three-man high-low system here. Right? I got Rawls, Wilson, and Baldwin. Snap the ball, and you also get Wilson in a good rollout situation, right? And
you get some blockers.
But you get some blockers, which can be tough, right? So that's one thing to pay attention to right there. Off the Deuce Close, but you'll get some open passing lanes here, and you also have the deep route if they start cheating up, the dive. But you have that quick. That quick right there is really effective.
So this is your pass play you come out in. What I'm saying, when you come out in the wham, you don't necessarily call the wham every time. You sometimes audible to other pass plays. But this is one pass play you can come out, and if you know you want to get a flow going, get it underneath, get a roll, target the flat, and then you got the backbreaker deep post. That's the killer.
That's the killer. If they start cheating with the safety, a lot of times people will.
Yeah, especially against the wham.
So that's that play that I'll come out in. Then you also have the PA misdirection. A lot of people like to use. I think it's good as well.
What I like about this is you get a post across the middle. So the PA misdirection here, the middle play, you'll get the backbreaker to Richardson. When I'm expecting, a corner route, or I'm expecting it to come from a different area, that's one spot that it can hit you pretty good. Sure.
So what I do here is I block the halfback. Now that route to Wilson, he will just release most of the times like that, and it's a quick pass, right? Most times, I can count the number of times on one hand that I think he stayed into block. So it's a pretty reliable. He's going to release even with a D lineman there. You can see how good it is.
Yeah.
The zone's drift, and you can just throw it to him, right? So the same thing is going to apply here on the right side. I can throw this route to Jimmy Graham. He's going to snap. That time he releases. He goes, he blocked for a second, and he releases.
The quick flip is tough, too, yeah.
Real tough.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
And then you have the post, you have the corners. The corner's tough because it's very deep. You can get to a spot where you can throw open, so you can see how you can throw that open. So Deuce Close gives you a lot of ways to attack these sidelines that's difficult for defenses to defend. But the bread and butter of Deuce Close is tight end angle.
Tight end angle. This is the money maker.
So what makes it difficult is the route combination to Graham and Richardson, and then the route combo of Wilson and Baldwin on the left allows you to throw open that corner. Now, you can block Rawls for extra pass protection, but I also like to swing them because if they don't have a hard flat on that side, that's instant easy yardage with blockers in front now, right? So
swing them the other way.
Swing them the other way.
So he starts on one way, but you want to go the other way.
I like to do that.
Yeah.
Because this is a wasted resource, and here's why. That curl flat on that right side is just going to drop down to him.
Right.
So by default, you could just call cover runs by him. But by default, you could just call cover 3, never have played the game before, and you're going to defend that route.
Yeah.
But why I like to add it to the left side, you could call cover 3, that same scenario, never played the game before, don't know what you're doing.
You'd almost be better off with a wheel.
But then there you have it.
To him. Almost like a wheel.
The wheel's timing
to the right,
different.
but I'm saying to the right, to the
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
You're going to leave him to the right.
Right, absolutely. So, but what makes this play difficult to defend is the user dilemma that you create with Graham and Richardson. So the user dilemma is this. If you're on a hook over the middle of the field, and you say you user Jones, okay, here's what happens. There is a window. So if this is what people do. If you're usering Jones, I would call tight end angle, and I'm seeing you're using Jones. I'd flip it, and I'd run it this way. And the reason I do this is because, number one, I want my streak to be in the seam where your user is. Because if you vacate that area, so just bail hard for me and vacate the area, right? If you vacate it, that's there, okay? So if you bail, I can throw that. Next, now if I see you're on that Jones route again, you're going to, if you bail and bite on the drag to Baldwin, there is a passing window that opens up to Wilson that doesn't open up if you are using the other defender. So stay on your guy there, go to the drag. So you go to the drag, you're going to see a passing window that opens up and creates a user dilemma. So now, if you're on Jones and I run tight end drag or tight end angle this way, if you bail on the drag, watch what happens. You bail on the drag, A opens up. I don't care about your great play. What I care is by default, my tight end angle is going to run into the zone.
Your zone, yes,
My zone.
yes. That's actually smart.
Right. So watch. So,
I never thought of it like that.
Oh, this is why it's tough.
That's good.
So if you bail on the drag, or say you bail on the drag right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I can just go. There's a defender there.
Right.
You caught it. But so this is the dilemma that this formation creates. They're going to key in on, okay, who's he using? Okay, he's using that guy. That's cool. Got it. All right, go ahead, user dilemma. Oh, you messed up. Sorry.
Right.
So this is the cat and mouse game of the tight end angle. Tight end angle is a cat and mouse game at its core, right? You're making them make a decision based on who they want to user. You identify where they are on their user, and then you run the play appropriately. Now, what's also difficult about this play is the corner. The corner is really, really difficult. You need time in the pocket, but you can throw that thing open, or you get the drag. Like, if you don't go to the drag gets open for big yards, right? So if you don't go to them, and you give me that, like, it's the same thing as that swing underneath. It's just big yards. And you can flip it and run it to either side of the field really easily.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this whole scheme really difficult to defend, because you can quickly flip it. It's very similar to the tight slots. Very similar.
All right.
Some would argue that this is better than tight slots. But tight slots a little bit better for running.
Little Deuce Close scheme. You got the stretch, you got the wham, you got the angle, you got the two PA plays. Those 5 plays, you should be able to run 80% of the game, win a lot of games. Check out some of the pros using that scheme, guys like Kerry Q, and take notes. If you want to go back to my original videos before Madden 17 came out and I predicted this formation as the next winner, you can go back and review those too, because it all works the same. No big deal. No big deal.